Today we're on the Majesty of the Seas. So welcome to Deck 7 of the Majesty of the Seas. It's our last day on a 4-night cruise. It went from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, down to Key West, and then over to Havana, Cuba. This was back in May of 2019, before Cuba was basically put on the ban list. The Trump administration banned U.S. citizens from going to Cuba about 2 weeks after we got back from this cruise, so we snuck in under the wire. So Deck 7, kind of walking around the outside, just the last day of the cruise, not much to do, just kind of wandering around. Sorry for the back and forth on the camera. I was walking around on this particular cruise a lot of times holding a big, pretty noticeable camcorder with a big old microphone on top and everything. And I was trying to be sort of nonchalant about it and kind of just holding it down by my side as I walked. And I guess I didn't realize it at the time, but it was sort of doing this side-to-side motion as I'm walking. And, it's kind of, I should have just held it up at eye level and just owned the fact that I'm walking around with a big camcorder and, So, sorry about the footage there. That's one of those lesson learned for future trips. So here we are. This is the upper level of the Centrum. It's listed on the deck plan as a conference room, but you see over there, they've got kind of an art gallery going. They've got a little bit of a library there, but very cool ship. It's obviously one of the older and one of the smaller ships in the fleet. And as of August 8th, 2020, when I'm putting this together, there are no plans to get rid of the Majesty of the Seas. Royal Caribbean had recently disposed of, or scrapped, or salvaged, whatever you want to call it, a couple of the older ships that were sort of part of Pullman Tours lineup, which was sort of a loose affiliation with Royal Caribbean because Royal Caribbean Group owns part of that cruise line. So they were ships that were originally in Royal Caribbean's fleet, and they were sort of transferred over to this other kind of sister company. And then in July, I think, July of 2020, the decision was made to get rid of them, so they're gone. But as far as I know, Majesty of the Seas is still out there, still kicking around. Obviously, the COVID pandemic is going on right now. If you're ever curious about the cruise ships, you can always pull up the marinetraffic.com website, and they'll kind of tell you where they're hanging out. Most of the cruise ships, because of the COVID pandemic, off the coast of Florida, they're hanging out over the Bahamas. There's a couple of areas over in Europe where they kind of cluster together, just basically anchored, waiting for... Essentially, they're in a hot layup state, and they're just kind of waiting to go back into service, more or less. So it's a sad state of affairs for the industry right now. But like I said, hopefully the Majesty of the Seas is still around once everything starts back up. It's a nice little ship. It's cozy. They make excellent use of space. This was a really, really good cruise, only 4 nights. But if everything was back to normal and we were allowed to go back to Cuba, I would do this cruise again in an absolute heartbeat. I loved it. Just absolutely had such a good time. There's so many things to do in Key West, so many things to do in Cuba, in Havana. I would definitely do this one again if given the chance. Thank you very much for watching that video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you gave it a like, that's very much appreciated as it helps the channel. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe and don't forget to change that bell icon so you're notified when new videos are posted.